we got to go talk about Caleb Williams. We have to talk about this potential bust of a Caleb Williams. So as you guys know, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears did drop to 4-5 on this young NFL season. Not young anymore. It's a teenage NFL season. We're in double digits, week 11. Almost a teenager. But after winning 3 games in a row versus the Rams, Panthers, and Jaguars, since then they've lost 3 games in a row. Sarah pointed it out. Since the Hail Mary game, they lost to the Commanders, Cardinals, and Patriots. Since then, Caleb Williams has been not playing very, very good football at all. Hell, on Sunday, he only had 120 yards passing versus the Patriots. He played the full game, only 120 yards passing. That is the lowest in the NFL since 1943. Back then, they didn't pass the ball. Let's just be honest. So, guys, is it an overreaction if I say that Caleb Williams will be a bust in the NFL? Before the NFL season even started, many people were already putting Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. I think people were saying it basically just to say that I was the first one to say that. Here's my hot take of the year, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, slow it down, baby. And then in the same breath, those same people after a preseason game, Caleb Williams is going to be the rookie of the year. I'm like, slow it down. It's freaking preseason. Slow it down. I told them to slow it down. I told him to shut up and stop labeling him a bust. He is not being brought up. He's not being coached right. So far, Caleb Williams this season has 1,785 yards passing with 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. His QBR currently is 38. 38 QBR ranking out of 100. Ouch. He will now have to learn from his third coach in a year dating back to college, offensive coordinator wise, right? So you got your college, you got your college coordinator, then you had Shane Waldron, and now you got what was his name? Thomas, was it Thomas Jones? Thomas Brown. So third coach in a calendar year, it is tough, right? But Caleb Williams, guys, has talent. If he didn't have talent, he wouldn't be in the NFL. But he looks uncomfortable playing the quarterback position in Chicago. He looks antsy, he looks nervous, and he doesn't look very sure of himself, to be honest. I looked it up. Statmuse.com says that Caleb Williams is hanging on to the ball 6.3 seconds per pass play. So 6 seconds, guys. Let's count that. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi. That's a long, long time. No wonder he's getting sacked at a rate of 12% per dropbacks. That is a long time to pass a ball. Hell, Xavier Worthy just ran 75 yards in those 6 seconds. Let's just be honest. He has talent, but he looks uncomfortable. But the worst part is the coaching has been bad. Matt Eberflus should have been fired last season. He ruined Justin Fields. Justin Fields, the worst quarterback in the... First things first. Justin Fields, generational talent. Caleb Williams, generational talent. Stop saying that term. It's overblown, right? Overblown. But Matt Eberflus' system has ruined 2 generational talents. Coaching has been bad, but he has been playing worse. What the Chicago Bears need to do is to take a play out of the Carolina Panthers playbook. They need to do what the Carolina Panthers did this season. They benched Bryce Young. They benched him. He was playing bad. Everything was moving too fast for him. He needed to slow it down. He needed to learn how to be a professional. Now, I'm not saying Taysom Bagent is the end-all, be-all for the Chicago Bears, but he did not that half bad when he was with the Chicago Bears starter. Didn't win a games, but everything seemed to look a little bit more fluid, right? Sit Caleb Williams down for the rest of the season. Let Taysom Bagent take the realm. Make it so Caleb Williams doesn't have to listen to Matt Eberflus for another season. Get Matt Eberflus out of there, because if Matt Eberflus is the coach moving forward, he will be a bust. And it would not be an overreaction. But the question is, guys, is it an overreaction if I say that Caleb Williams is going to be a bust in the NFL? And it is definitely an overreaction. It is an overreaction because I think we use the term bust wrong, right? The biggest bust in the NFL was because they went to bad teams with bad coaching and bad organizations. Ryan Leaf, arguably one of the biggest busts in the NFL ever, right? The point is he had bad team. The coaching wasn't bad. He wasn't brought up properly. He didn't have that big brother, and he got in like some drugs and this and yada, 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 and he lost it all. Jamarcus Russell may have been the same way. I don't know, but the truth of the matter is if Caleb Williams gets a new coach, gets a coaching staff, not an organization, but like a staff, change the culture and raise him right, raise my boy into a man, he will not be a bust. But at the current rate, he will be a bust in the NFL. So is it an overreaction, guys, or an underreaction saying that Caleb Williams will be a bust in the NFL? Let's scroll back up to the comments here. Yada, yada, yada. You guys talking about a friendly little bit. Sarah says, I think Caleb will be a bust in Chicago. As currently constructed, Sarah, I think you are correct. I think you are 100% correct because currently constructed Chicago Bears are bad. You can, like I said this before, if you put Mitchell Trubisky with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes with the Chicago Bears, Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes that we know right now. It's just not. Patrick Mahomes would be deemed a bust. That is why I say that Patrick Mahomes is a system quarterback. And it's not a bad term. It's not a bad thing. It's just certain people fit certain systems better. Patrick Mahomes would have been a bust in Chicago. Right now, Caleb Williams is going to be a bust in Chicago unless they don't fix it now. So, Sarah, let me ask you this question. If you think Caleb Williams is a bust in Chicago, what needs to happen? Does he need a new team? Like Mitchell Trubisky when he went to the Buffalo Bills, get a nice fresh start. Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers, nice fresh start. Or is it coaching? Is it like, what is it? Like, how can he not be a bust? And John says he will be an average bust. Is that the most wafflest answer ever, John? An average bust. What? So does that mean like, yeah, he won't live up to the hype? Rookie of the year, Super Bowl MVP, but he won't be bad either? Like, is he going to be like I don't know, Tony Romo? Like, what do you want? Clear that up a little bit, John. Derek says that is an overreaction. Derek says, slow it down, baby. He is not going to be a bust. Slow it down. Simmer down now, you hear? And Laura says it's an overreaction. Y'all talking crazy. Slow it down. Caleb Williams is going to be just fine. He's going to figure it out, says Laura. He's going to figure it out. He's not going to be a bust. And in 2 weeks' time, he is going to come home the week before Thanksgiving, week after Thanksgiving, and he's going to beat my Minnesota Vikings. John says, no more training ball, busty. Yeah. Laura says, does he stay in the pocket the whole 6 seconds? Most of the time, yes, Laura. Most of the time, Caleb Williams, when he is sacked, he is in the pocket. He is perfect little horseshoe. The offensive line is holding up for about 4 or 5 seconds. He tries to scramble, but there's no place to go. Most of those sacks are in the pocket. And John says, no, he's not running for his life, John. He's not. Sarah says, quarterbacks need to go to organizations that need to save coaching jobs never work out well. This is facts. We all knew that Matt Eberflus was on the hot seat before the NFL season even started, and he's even a hotter seater now. And Derek says he should go to Gruden's quarterback camp. Okay. I like it. James Chamberlain says, name another USC quarterback or a OSU that produced outside of Stroud. They don't. I can name you 3 USC quarterbacks that have produced. Carson Palmer, Matt Castle when he was not with my Kansas City Chiefs the year that he was with the Patriots. I choose not to live that ever in my life again. And that's about it, I guess. Maybe I can't name 3. Carson Palmer is the only one. So James, you're right. USC and Ohio State do have a bad rap of quarterbacks. Justin Fields will be all right though. Don't sleep on Justin Fields. Bears are talking to Gruden. Everybody wants to talk to Gruden. Gruden doesn't want you though. You may want me, but I don't want you, baby. Laura says, I think they overhyped him and it got to his head. Now he can't play that what everybody wants him to, and he sucks. You are right. Chicago Bears hyped Caleb Williams up since day one. When the Chicago Bears knew that they were getting the first overall pick in January of 2024, once the NFL season was over, the regular season, and they're like, we're getting the first overall pick, they're like, Caleb Williams, they're going to get the Super Bowl. Yeah, we're 7-10. Yeah, we got the first overall pick, but we're going to the Super Bowl next year because Caleb Williams was a lifesaver. You are right, sir. Laura, you are exactly right. It is hard to live up to expectations. It is hard to live up to be a CEO when you are still a line worker, right? Now, I'm not dogging line workers or I'm not dogging CEOs, but there is different levels of expectations, right? When you are a line worker, you expect to put out a good product, right? You do what is asked, and you do your thing, you do it and you move on. CEO is thinking big picture. We got to make money. Got to do this, whatever, right? Caleb Williams is still a line worker. He's not ready to be promoted to line leader or shift leader or manager or assistant plant manager or CEO. He's still entry level. People need to understand that. Sarah says Caleb needs a new team. Bears have shown throughout history they're not capable of developing quarterbacks. The Bears do have that history. Mitchell Trubisky with Matt Nagy, Justin Fields with Matt Eberflus, and now Caleb Williams with Matt Eberflus, right? But maybe they just need a culture shift. Maybe John Gruden needs to come in. Maybe they need some type of player coach like Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson. Maybe they need a shakeup. They need a decent head coach. That is what they need. Laura says, don't go to the Vikings. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of talk to Viking groups before we signed to the Bears. So Caleb Williams with the Vikings? What? Slow it down, baby. Laura says he's not beating my Vikings defense. John says, was going to give him the stock in the team. They was. Even though that was a completely made up false statement, but they would have gave him the house, the dog, and the cat. Let's just be honest. I'm not poking at you guys. I'm not poking. But speaking